Hi everybody, my name is Isa, and in this video I'm going to show you how to center. So the main thing with centering is all about using your body for stability. So I'm going to be super close to my wheel. I'm really close. If you're kind of far away, it kind of makes it hard. Also, my elbows are always on my thighs. What happens if my elbows are kind of floating or I'm not stable to myself is my piece is going to become out of whack because the clay is going to mold to whatever you push into it. So if you're stable, your piece is stable. Another thing is that wheels are not like cars. They are on autopilot. So you can set your speed and kick it away. And this is really important when you're first starting out because you don't want to think about too much. So let the speed just sit where it is and then you don't have to think about it. So full body stability. Stability to the ground. My feet are flat on the ground. Stability to myself. My elbows are on my thighs, and there's always going to be some type of hand connection throughout throwing the process. Throughout throwing, there's always some type of hand connection, and that's important. So connection with my hands, connection to myself, and connection to the ground. You really want to be center. So another thing is that centering is all about using your body to kind of help you. So I'm going to kind of be talking about digging into my stomach, and kind of pushing in to kind of help me to stabilize myself, to stabilize the piece. So I'm going to be showing you how I center with 2 pounds, and now I'm going to hit it into a ball. Because a ball, when I hit it down into the middle, it's going to kind of take out all the air pockets versus, something flat that I kind of hit down. It doesn't adhere as well to this wheel head, and sometimes there's some air pockets in there. So it's important that we have it round. Sometimes I'll even kind of go like this to make it even more pointy. That's perfect. Okay, finding the middle. I'm just gonna throw directly onto my wheel, but you can also throw onto your bat. So finding the middle, and I'm going to just slam it directly on. If it's a little off center, that's okay. I'm just gonna push it to the center. And then you can tulip just to make sure that it's on. I've also seen some artists do this just to make sure that the piece is on your wheel before you start. Okay, so there's 2 parts to centering. There's coning and then there's compression. So first we're going to do coning, and that is pretty much, I'm going to show you super basic, making a diamond, and I'm going to use right here and right here, and those are my 2 points, and I'm just going to squeeze. We're not really pushing, because when you push, you're kind of going to get it out of whack. We're more of squeezing to make it go up, and as we squeeze, we're also kind of driving our hands upward. So let's do that. So setting my speed. It's better with centering to go pretty fast, and then as you go through the steps of making a cylinder, we're going to go slower and slower. So this is my time to get water on my hands, and why I didn't get water on them before is because if I get this piece wet before I throw it onto my wheel head, it's not going to adhere because now it's slipping, and it's good to have it dry, and now you're going to get some water. So it's okay to have a lot of water when you center, and then as you go on the processes of wheel throwing, you're going to be using less and less water. So I'm going to make a diamond, and I'm going to squeeze. And I'm driving my hands up. I'm going to be compressing. I'm going to take my elbow and I'm going to go into my side. I'm using my body to really give me some stability. If I just use my hand like this, it's kind of hard. So it's nice to use your body when you can. I'm going to be having one hand on the side right here, and I'm going to use my palm. And I'm going to karate chop down. I'm using this area right here. And I'm going to have a little bit of connection. And all I'm going to do is just compress down and in. hold it, and slowly release. So I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to squeeze this up. I'm going to go into my side, using right here and right here. This is going down and this is going in. One thing I want to kind of touch on is this top karate chop. I'm not going full 100% because there's two directions happening when I have 100%, right? The wheel is going this way and the wheel is going this way. So this is only on the middle and then the end. I'm going to kind of show you. You see how it's kind of like this? And I'm not doing the full. I'm going from here to the end. This is just me extending myself. So it'd be kind of like this. I'm not doing a full, I'm doing half, and I'm kind of at an angle. And this side hand is kind of flat because I want to make it into a hockey puck. That's our goal right now, is to make it into a hockey puck. And I'm pressing more down than in. And then why do I say slowly release at the end? Because if I fast release, it can become out of whack. So that's why everything is pretty slow release. Alright. Another thing I want to touch on is when I'm coning, I'm not pushing, I'm squeezing. It's important that we don't push because when we push, we're kind of getting it out of whack. When we squeeze our hands together and using our body to help us squeeze, that really makes it nice and tall. And then I'm going to compress. Another thing is I want you to see that I have a little bit of hand connection, right? And I'm not focusing on the whole piece with this hand, with my side hand. I'm focusing only on the top little portion. So I'm focusing on this portion, hockey pucking it, and I'm moving it down. If I focus on this whole thing, it's kind of difficult, and also you can see I'm getting this little mushroom top. That happens because I'm kind of creating an air area right here, and it's pulling out. So it's important that we keep it nice and concise, so there's no area where the clay can pull out to. So I'm really only kind of using right down here and then here, and I'm connecting it. I'm not using this whole palm, I'm just using the bottom bit. And as I go to the bottom, I'm going to kind of push it outwards, so it goes like this, and then I'm kind of going like this. So I'm filling in that bottom area. Some of my students will kind of get like this type of, it goes out and then in. And that's because the clay will mold to whatever you press into it, and your hand is kind of pressing inward down here. That's why it's important to keep it flat and you kind of move it like that. Okay. One more key is that I always say go slow, but be confident. So this applies to like all the steps in throwing, is when I'm doing something like this, I'm going pretty slow, because if you think about it, if I start here with my pressure, I have to get back to that spot before I can add a little bit, go up a little bit or like do some more pressure. So kind of like tick, 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 if that makes sense. It's the same thing with compression. You kind of want to go kind of slow so it's a full rotation. Okay. Another thing I want to touch on is you see this little bump right here. I call these like a foot. Sometimes you can get a lot of it like that, and sometimes it's even more. So that kind of hurts you when you're trying to, because when you center, you're pushing this down, and this is kind of resting on this wheel. the wheel head. So if I have an uneven bottom, my side hand is going to kind of jiggle. And that's not good. So we're going to either take our finger and take that out, or you could take a wooden knife. I don't know where my wooden knives are. You take a wooden knife and you just take it out. So just like that. And now we can continue. If at any time you see that there's a foot there and you're like, it's just so difficult, but you have just a huge chunk, kind of like this maybe, kind of like that, where there's just a huge chunk down there, just go ahead and either you can try to push it back in, or you can just, you can just take it out with the wooden knife. Easy as that. And that just helps you with centering. Okay, so why do I use this hand on the side and this hand on the top? And that is because I have this as counterclockwise. So the clay is coming into my side hand instead of going away from my side hand. And it's easier to kind of use my body and dig into my side than it is to dig in my side and kind of like try to catch it while it's leaving. So that's why I use this hand versus this hand on the side. If you're lefty and you change the direction with your wheel, then, you know, you just come in, like it should be clockwise. So you can use your left hand or your right hand on the side versus your left hand on the side. And that is why I do this hand on the side and this hand on the top. A little explanation of why I use this hand on the side and this hand on the top is because I'm doing counterclockwise, I'm right-handed, so the clay is coming at me here versus going away from me here. So I'm using my left hand because it's easier for me to kind of push from the clay coming at me versus the clay going away from me and kind of have to like travel after it. So that's why I use this hand, because the clay is coming out versus away. If you're doing clockwise and you're left-handed, then of course use your right hand because the clay will be coming into your right hand versus your left hand, it will be leaving. And that is why I do this hand on the side and this hand on the top for counterclockwise. A common problem that a lot of beginners have is that when they're coning, they kind of get this little volcano. It kind of has like a little hole at the top, and I can show you kind of what that looks like. Kind of like this. You get a little hole here. And why do we get that? Because when we're compressing, we compress it to a full puck. And we don't necessarily want to do that in the beginning, because once we have this nice and flat, that's going to create that divot. So this is kind of creating that divot versus if when I'm creating the puck, leave it at kind of a volcano, I won't get that puck because the volcano kind of stops it. You can see now there's no divot. I'm now going to be coning and compressing from different angles, showing you different angles just so you can kind of see and get the hang of it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And if you'd like to see any other tutorials, let me know. Make sure to like, subscribe. It helps me out a lot and shows me that you like my stuff. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!